tea lovers, settle in because we've got a story. I'm Nell.
And I'm Rose, and today we're bringing you the tea.
Across eras.
Hey.
I totally threw you now, right? Like, I'm thrown too.
It did. Hey. What's going... Oh my gosh. I don't even know where to begin this episode. Hi, everyone.
Well,
We've
if you're
missed
anything
you.
like us, you've had a time. And it's really, really nice to be back.
It is. I walked into an office today, and someone was like, yeah, that's because it's a full moon. I'm all, does that cover the last 2 weeks?
Right. The whole month has to have been what this full moon nonsense was. But we roll.
We roll, and you guys, we love doing this, but we don't get paid for it. So sometimes it's late. And a lot of that was just the past 2 weeks were full of events that have just been so bad. And some of them funny now that they're past. But my gosh. Yeah.
We're really so happy to, is be in your ears creep? We're just so happy to get to spend some time.
Yeah. Also, I'm not sure what happened. I definitely should look into this a little more. But thank you to all you lovely people in South America and in India.
Yes,
I don't know what happened that day.
That was a fantastic surprise, and we appreciate everybody that listens. We appreciate our new listeners even more.
Yes, thanks, guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. So, to clarify, this episode is being recorded today. It's a Monday. That's our recording days. It was going to be recorded 2 Mondays back when it would have been slightly more relevant. But you know what? You're getting it anyways.
Interest knows no century or time frame.
Thank you, right? But I did want to give a little fun updates on just some things that have been going on that aren't horrible in the world right now. And this came from me watching the YouTube clips of Saturday Night Live, which was hosted by Bad Bunny again.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I saw that.
So it got me thinking, like, if I can learn all the Korean parts in the soundtrack to K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's been a week and I've learned it all. I haven't even seen it yet, but I know the songs and I know the Korean parts.
Well, that was how it went with We Are Lady parts.
Oh, yeah.
We knew the music immediately. And it was just like, oh, the show's great too. Yeah.
I love that show. I should rewatch it. It's so comforting to me. But I was thinking, if I can learn those in a week, y'all can learn some Bad Bunny songs, right? I mean, remember when everyone was like, Despacito?
Okay, fair. Yeah, that one kind of transcended a lot of genre.
Yeah, and I don't honestly know a lot about Bad Bunny's music. I know he's a very handsome man.
And to be honest, total screaming newbie as well.
Well, most of what I know about him just comes from like general news headlines, including when he dated Kendall Jenner.
You know, and honestly, I think you get a worse impression of people if the only thing you know about them is who they're dating and how it's going. Every relationship's a failure till the one that sticks.
Right. All I really know about that is he did come out with a pretty spicy song about it. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Also, you should know this by now because it's been all over the internet, but Bad Bunny is an American citizen, just like in case you didn't know.
FYI. The good folks of Puerto Rico are American citizens. They do not, however, have access to many of the basic services and rights that American citizens of the mainland and Hawaii have.
Which is wild.
We annexed it and just told them to live in limbo, and thus we be. But
Puerto
yeah,
Rico's not the only one.
We need to stop forgetting.
Guam, I believe, American Samoa.
Point being, we need to stop forgetting that people are citizens. Just kind of blanket thing.
And like the Who performed, and they're not American citizens. And Shakira performed, and Shakira sings in Spanish.
Oh crap!
I saw someone say like online, like, "Oh man, I was hoping for I don't know, like Metallica." Which don't get me wrong, Metallica.
I grew up with that.
Was cool. Don't hate me, guys. Don't come at me.
Yeah.
Like I like their music, but they don't hold audience.
Much like I don't wear the same things that I wore as a 7-year-old, I do not listen to the same things that I listened to as a 7-year-old, with the exception of the coasters.
But also, like, the Super Bowl is a football game, but the concert has become such a huge part of it.
It's really its own thing at this point.
It's like the ads.
And asking for it to be ubiquitous is just ridiculous. It's never been the exact same thing once.
Right.
Oh, what about tradition? What tradition? Different every single time.
I know, and some of them are so lame.
And some of them are intensely exciting, and then you kind of regret not watching football. I always just hear about it afterward.
I actually watched an NFL game with my dad yesterday.
Oh, that's
I'm not like an NFL fan.
Mm.
I like the Saints. I've been to some of their games, but the NFL to me is a little, again, don't come at me. This is just my opinion, and we're all kind, and this opinion doesn't hurt anyone. I think the NFL is a little bit boring compared to college football because everyone in college football is trying to get to the NFL generally. So they're
Motivation.
putting 1,000% in, and in the NFL,
That's
they're
your job.
there and they made it. And we always have people like Tom Brady and whoever, Michael Jordan, who are like, just take it to the extreme. Personally, this says a lot about me, y'all. I would hate to be their teammate so much because I would be like,
No one
what
will
do
ever
you
remember
mean?
me.
Not even that part. Who cares? I know we have different opinions on being remembered because I'm like, oh, I mean, I don't expect anyone will. That's cool. And Rose does not agree.
More of an Achilles type when it comes to legacy, you know.
But okay, like the NFL, it's just not my thing. Like the game, I don't know. It was whatever. I love college football and the NFL Super Bowl. I don't even remember what we were saying anymore. So
We were talking about Bad Bunny.
yeah, Bad Bunny is performing. It's cool. I hope he dresses.
Scandalously, that's all I want to see.
I mean, I don't even mean in wearing a dress kind of way. Like Young
No.
Thug wore a dress on the cover of one of his albums. He looked like the anime guy.
No, wearing a dress as a guy is very much a small s scandalous at this point. I mean, people still talk about it, but
And it's also men not wearing a dress is a modern concept.
right. Exactly.
Why do you think everyone had to gird up their loins?
Robes are popular
Tie
for a
your skirt up.
reason. Right?
Okay.
Your toga did not come. Actually, your toga did come with some restraint options, but we're going to talk about that at a different time. It's really weird.
That is weird. I don't know much about togas.
No, but remember the thing I was telling you about with the string? I found a mosaic.
Oh no. Okay, this is exciting. She's gonna save that.
We're going to have to do it. We're just going to have to put a disclaimer on that one.
So while we're on a football streak, here's something that I did. It's been a month, maybe. I don't know where time has gone. I don't know what day it is. I don't know.
Time is a construct.
So I flew back to Alabama. Took one of my nibblings with me for Auburn's homecoming weekend. It was so fun. You
Best
know,
auntie ever.
it was great, fun. I have like the greatest condo that I stay in every time I'm out there. I love it. It's perfect. It's amazing. Unfortunately, homecoming kickoff was at, I think it's 12:45 a.m. or 11:45. A little early in the South in early September because I haven't lived in a humid place since the year 2000. I've lived in New Mexico
For
since
good
then.
reasons.
And vacationing in a humid place just isn't the same
Mm-mm.
because, fam, I am telling you, it was like 87 degrees and 5,000% humidity.
I can't do humidity. I hate it so much. I don't care that my skin is better.
My skin does glow and my hair is amazing, but I agree. So people who are in charge of the stuff they sell inside, is it called a fairway? What's the thing around the stadium?
Like the merch area.
The
No, we've
food,
talked
the
about this, like,
concession
so
area.
long.
I don't know
No.
what it's called, but I'm going to call it the concessions area.
Yeah.
I spent most of my time in there. Okay.
It's covered.
To the people who sell or who are in charge of putting in the merchandise in the 80 million like pack and go, or I don't know what they're called, little kiosks they have. If you guys sold a wide brimmed hat, I would have paid $50 for it.
It's like that guy at the state fair that sold umbrellas the time that we were there when it rained. Like, he knew what he
Yes.
was doing. He was a smart man.
Yes. I mean, I have wide brimmed hats. I did not have any of them in Alabama, unfortunately.
No, you really have to plan to want
Right.
a wide brim hat.
I could have purchased 2 ball caps, like baseball caps, or 2 visors, or a combination, one of each, probably for more than $50, and wore them like at different angles.
But then you just have to pick your favorite ear.
It was so hot. And it was so bright. Like, I don't know, something about that humidity, makes the sun just like blinding. And then my poor nibbling dropped their phone, and we were sitting in the only place in the stadium under the new gigantic, enormous screen where there was like an opening at the bottom of our seat.
Of course you.
And it was a great opening because cool air was blowing up through there. As we found out, when the phone fell, went through the opening and under the stadium, we're looking down there using other phones' flashlights, and it's just like dirt down there. And there's a little creek that runs under Jordan-Hare Stadium. And
Oh no.
so we go and tell like the seating usher who says, go find a security guard. So I stop what looks like, I'm so sorry, this is gonna make me so old, an absolute child in a uniform. And I'm like, hey, are you a security? And no, he's not a security guard. He's a cop. And I was all, oh, I'm so sorry. I am looking for a security guard. I did not say, I am shook because aren't you 12?
He tried not to. He's working hard.
Yes. Bless him. He was like, well, what's going on? And I told him, and he was like, scan this QR code or text this number. And there's a big sign, and turns out they're all over the place that say, like, need something, text this number.
Okay, that's handy.
It was super handy. So we texted the number, and then we go back to the absolute 2 kajillion degree bleachers. I think we both had like frozen lemonades and ice cream or something at that point.
Gotta do something.
Right. And then we're with other people too. We've got 4 other people with us, and they're all just like absolutely sweating to death out there. We get a text that says like, hey, you can pick up the phone in the place where you go if you get hurt, whatever that's called. Infirmary. Yeah. So we're like, cool. So we go. Well, that apparently didn't mean it was ready. It just meant
That is
check later. It takes a while to find that out, and we see a lot of people in the infirmary. A lot of heat-stroked drunk people, and then unfortunately people who look like they had fallen. Stadium steps are brutal.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, long story short, we got the phone back and we left.
Done.
We
Can't do it.
Yeah. I was like, look, the condo has a view of the stadium and a TV and air conditioning. And so we left, and we were not the only ones.
That's where your Airbnb game is being solid was the saving grace.
So that was a long story. It's not even the one I want to tell you about. But it was fun to be back in the South, even with everything in the country that's happening that's weird. Like the road sign for the Tuskegee Airmen Museum was still up. That made me happy. There's a Buc-ee's right outside of Auburn. That made me super happy. I had boiled peanuts.
I wasn't going to ask.
Okay, so I just said boiled peanuts, which is how a New Mexican would say those two things.
Mm-hmm.
The closer I get to the South, and when I'm in the South, it's bolt peanuts. They're so delicious. My brother and I ate a huge thing of them. So to get boiled peanuts, you can find like a roadside stand, like a farm type stand. A lot of them will just say boiled peanuts. I was looking for them on a Sunday, which is never good luck in the South because everything still is closed like on Sundays and Wednesday evenings.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I know. You just pick like the sketchiest looking gas station and they'll have a crock pot full of them. And that's what I did. And they were so yummy. I ate a ton.
I know I love trunk jerky, so I don't have any room to judge. Like, that was the best beef jerky I've ever had in my life. But
trunk jerky is super good. Trunk tamales.
Yeah,
trunk tamales, 100 out of 10.
Them.
Also, I have to say, so the condo I stay in overlooks this frat. The building used to be a church.
Okay.
So it's really cool looking.
Those are really fun to live in.
I'm sure it is. It's really cool looking. And then, like, it does remind me that, like, I'm freaking old, right? Because we have this gorgeous balcony that overlooks everything and heavy duty doors. So when you're in the living room and then you slide the door shut, you don't hear the live band that's literally in the parking lot directly below your room.
I mean, you live next to a frat. You really, really want good insulation.
Right. But the wildest thing is that the main bedroom, so that's where me and my nibbling were staying in that room, also has sliding doors onto the same deck. Mm-hmm. We tested so many theories, and because the deck ends right on the outside of the door, the sound bounces off of it, and it is so not quiet, and I am getting old.
In the bedroom, that's bad planning.
Luckily, I have earbuds and they're noise canceling. Yes. But I have to say, the frat homecoming party, if you're part of or you attended the Lambda Chi Alpha homecoming party in Auburn this year, who was the main band?
Inquiring minds need to know.
Yes, I did everything I possibly could except go ask because I'm old and didn't want to. But they were really good. Really, really, really good. I loved them.
So drop us a line.
Drop us a line. At the homecoming parade, the actress Octavia Spencer was the grand marshal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she has an English degree from Auburn.
Nice.
The amount of spray tans was nice. Spray tans are much, much better than a tanning bed.
If one must be orange, the spray is better.
As a former Southerner, I know people in high school who would be like, I go to my aunt's house and use the tanning bed twice a week.
Ugh.
And one of them had to have moles removed off her back and some skin because of that. So
my old roommate used to do the tanning bed religiously. Yeah, I did not ever get that.
I'm not going to lie. I love them. They're so cozy. I become unnaturally colored because I don't color. I can only go in like 3 minutes at a time. It's wild. It's just not worth the way my skin's going to look because I'm also vain as heck.
Well, and they don't even look comfortable. I'm sure they are, but like to me, it just feels like what it must be like to be trapped inside a fluorescent light panel, like an office building. Like if you somehow got trapped in one of those, it feels like my worst fear.
I had to make a playlist that was the exact length of time of however long I was going to be in the tanning bed for, because no matter if it was 3 minutes or 6 minutes, halfway through I would be like, clearly I've been in here too long and now I'm going to die. I have to say 2 things though. One is that when you're self-tanning, pay attention to the backs of your knees, because ladies in the South dress so cute. And, everything looks directly out of like Rush Chalk, what's that store, Altered State. Like that's how everyone looks. And it's so cute. But I did see several of y'all miss the back of your knees, which that's not on y'all, because I say, this isn't my original thought. I heard it like probably online. Someone said, if I can't see the back of my hair, it's not my business. So, it's not on you. It's on your friends. You have bad friends. They should have told you. One thing I did notice in Auburn, which was so disappointing, why did everybody litter?
Oh,
I don't think it's a football thing. So
crowds just become less conscientious.
I don't even know if it was that. So I saw it at Walmart.
Oh.
I was at Walmart.
So, yeah.
We took my brother's friend to Walmart because we were like, do you want to see what Walmart looks like where it's clean, not scary? They have self-checkout and plastic bags, which we know they're bad for the environment, but everybody wants them, let's be real. And nothing's locked up. And his friend was like, I don't believe that exists. And if you don't live in New Mexico, you probably don't either.
Yeah. No, you have to call a manager to get shampoo. It's true.
It's true. It's fine. But I saw a lot of people. Like I saw this dude, we're at the homecoming parade, and before it started, he was walking across the street because there's like some volunteers in front of a church giving away lemonade and little Jesus Loves You keychains, which I didn't want, but graciously accepted, and then tried to tip them, and they were like, we don't accept tips, and my church doesn't tithe, so I have complicated feelings about tithing, so I took the keychain. Anyways,
fine.
Anyways, so this man's walking over there to get some lemonade, and he just like flicks his lit cigarette butt right into the street. And I saw stuff like that at Walmart. I know it's not as dry, but that's not the problem. Like, that's not the only problem.
It's not the only. I mean, it's definitely a fire hazard.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of weird because I saw other trash. And look, when Auburn wins a game, we have a whole corner of the university with trees that are planted, and we roll them with toilet paper when we win.
There's a time and a place.
It's insane. Like I'll post one of the photos on our website, but
it was pretty cool looking.
It looks like it's snowing, but they have a whole cleaning crew for that. Because let me tell you, the toilet paper gets everywhere.
Yes.
It's the only time in your whole life when if you're walking and toilet paper stuck to your feet, you're not embarrassed. Just going because you can't get it off here. There's too much. Thank you all for listening to that. So I was originally going to talk to y'all about Fat Bear Week, which is now past, but that's okay.
Oh, I didn't even know Fat Bear Week was a thing. You're still going to tell me about it, right?
Of course I am. It's so exciting. So when I first started writing this, I had spent like probably the past week watching these live nature cameras up in Katmai National Park. And the webcams are set up with this partnership between the Katmai Conservancy the National Park Services, and then this website, which is probably actually a company, called explore.org.
Oh, but where is that park though? I'm not familiar with that one.
Sorry, that is in Alaska.
Ah, cool.
So these bears are right now, because it's, getting to be close to winter, especially if you're in Alaska. So the bears are currently in a phase called hyperphagia. What a fun word. So that's a condition that happens in the autumn when bears start getting ready to go back into hibernation.
Oh, the fattening up time.
Yeah. So for a few months before hibernation, the bears are just like constantly hungry. They need to eat around 20,000 calories a day, and they'll be adding on up to 4 pounds each day in weight.
I mean, imagine planning out your entire holiday weight gain and then trying to scoosh it into a couple of weeks.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right. So that's why some of these bears spend like 22 hours a day just eating.
Yeah.
So I was watching these low cameras. They're called the low cameras, and they're in an area called Brooks Falls. And it's one of those little waterfalls where the salmon like jump into the bears' mouths practically.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's so fun. And even after it got dark when I was watching it one night, the bears are just still sitting there happily munching.
Fish are still there.
Right. So Fat Bear Week is basically just this big thing, good for education and awareness, where you can go online and each day during certain times you vote for like this bear versus this bear, and you're looking, yeah, and you want to pick the bear that like represents what it means. Like maybe they're not the biggest bear, but like maybe they gained the most weight, or maybe like the winner this year, Chunk. He started the season with his jaw hanging broken.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I mean, did they do like a rescue thing, or did
No.
nature heal?
He healed.
Yeah.
He's a bear.
Badass bear.
They are. They're so cool. And so, like, why do we care? Well, let me tell you all about why we care.
We care a lot. Bears are fantastic.
I'm obsessed with bears, and I'm going to tell y'all why. And it's not going to be the reason you think. It should have had the opposite effect on me.
I'm intrigued. This is a story I don't know.
So, bears are considered ecosystem engineers because they have the ability to change their natural environment. Yeah, according to the National Park Service, which at the moment of recording is probably not getting paid and maybe still being expected to work. The National Park Service has the coolest, most informative website, and they have like the best sources. They have info on things you wouldn't think they have. If it's related to American history, they've got it.
Use your resources while you got them.
Yes. So according to them, through their foraging habits, the bears spread and plant berry seeds in their droppings, yummy, and also spread marine-derived nitrogen from like the salmon and stuff into the forest surrounding the salmon streams. And so that makes them really important links on like the food web.
They literally are engineering the structure.
Yeah. And they also, of course, help maintain deer and other prey species in the area. In areas that don't have these big predators, though, and have human population, that's where you're going to see like so much roadkill. Hello, state of Alabama.
The New Hampshire bear experiment is always what I think of when people are like, well, but do we really need the Park Service?
Excuse me.
I don't mean to derail this, but it actually does feel really relevant. So there was this small town in New Hampshire, and I do not remember the name, but so a number of self-described libertarians decide to basically take the town over as an experiment. They run for all of the city positions. They, get people that are affiliated with them into the right jobs at the right times. That's how you engineer politics on the ground. That's you go for city governments first. So they manage to get control, and they stop paying the Forest Service. They start deregulating everything because this is their experiment to prove that can work on a larger scale. Well, so several of the people that moved in to take advantage of this awesome scheme really liked feeding bears and didn't really like locking up their trash. And so the problem with that is that bears can spread parasites so very easily. And they also get very quickly adapted to being fed. They love being lazy. That's
I have
actually
a
one of the
soapbox about that.
Yep. They get extraordinarily used to being fed. There was, I guess, a lady that would put out a table of donuts for them every day, which is just detrimental to them in the first place. But then all of these problems start rolling together, and the place basically imploded.
Yeah, they got overrun by wild animals.
So there is a book about it, which full disclosure, I haven't read. I just read the article that was interviewing the guy. But the book is called A Libertarian Walks into a Bear
Oh no.
by Matthew Hungaltz-Hetling.
Matthew Hungaltz-Hetling.
Hungaltz-Hetling. Apologies if I've butchered that. But yeah, that one's on my list. I think it's just such an interesting thing. But bears really are the engineers and the architects. It's exactly like you were saying.
Yeah.
Even in this extreme example.
I mean, I have a similar extreme example coming up. So the bears that get featured in Fat Bear Week and the ones on these cameras I was watching, which, side note, explore.org has live cameras for everything. And wow, it's amazing.
Nature cams in general, that fish doorbell thing that we were sent, like, I don't know, 3 months ago. I still have that email. Just every once in a while when I'm sad, I go click on the fish doorbell.
But these are coastal brown bears, and that's because they live by the coast. Like, so we obviously here in New Mexico do not have coastal brown bears. We don't have any sort of brown bears, actually.
Yeah, no.
I actually have a fact about that somewhere. I'll find it. We have black bears. I have not met one in the wild, and that is fine with me.
I've met one in a driveway.
Ouch.
So actually, my mom's friend that I was telling you about earlier, we were talking about how nice it would be to have a pet wallaby, because my mom's friend actually had one that would just hop around the house behind her. She was also a licensed conservator. You know,
Oh,
she had
okay,
an
yeah.
animal rescue.
She wasn't just
Yeah.
like
She wasn't just, that free spirit with a miniature horse in her front yard. No, she was a licensed conservator with a miniature horse in her front yard. And but she was who they would bring when they captured a bear in the city limits, which does happen not infrequently.
yeah, right before I moved into my neighborhood, they had a bear in a tree.
Yeah,
Everyone still talks about it.
we had bear drills in school. What do you do if it's on the playground? It's like fire drill.
Oh no, now they have active shooter drills.
Yeah, kind of miss bear drills.
Yeah.
But yeah, they would bring the bear in the little, I don't know, it's a bear container. It seemed very specific. It almost looked like just a metal tube, like a culvert with a crate over it. But they would bring it to her until they, had the resources to take it back up into the mountains. And so I got to go see a bear in a tube in a driveway once.
You know how in Jurassic Park, the dinosaurs, they're all in cages where, like, they can breathe on all sides? It would probably be more like a tube with a...
Honestly, yeah, because it's got good airflow and it seems
Yeah.
reasonable, and it's like not too much visibility. Because I think probably for a bear, riding down the highway is not their finest day. They don't want to remember a whole lot of that.
Poor bear. Oh. So besides eating salmon, which the sockeye salmon that they're catching right now, those bad boys have between 4,000 and 4,500 calories each.
Every time I'm alone, fish head soup, fish head soup. A lot of calories.
That's true. They eat salmon, other fish, and clams is a popular choice.
Oh, you know what? I don't ever even think of that as an option.
Me neither.
Coastal.
Yeah, so cute. Not for the clams, but for the bears. And then they also forage, so the roots, berries, grasses, other things they've foraged. A fat bear, obviously, is more likely to survive winter hibernation and then their spring awakening.
That seems like the harder part.
Yeah.
Surviving, sleeping through everything, that's just...
And it's not even actually fully sleeping, but they don't eat, they don't drink, they don't defecate.
They
That's
just
the word.
don't...
Yeah.
Yeah, no defecate.
Like, I think we've talked about it before, but on the Tooth and Claw podcast, shout out to them if you want really funny stories that are absolutely scary, wild. One of them worked as somebody who would go into where bears were hibernating in the winter and update their GPS tracking collars. Anyways, there's a very famous Nat Geo photo of the bear waking up.
Oh my!
Because they're not really like snoozing per se.
They're watching out for other things crawling in besides GPS.
And because of that, when you go to do this, bears are tranquilized. But something about like the tininess of this tunnel combined with like the angle in which he was tranquilizing the bear just didn't really work. But anyways, so they have to rely on their stored body fat during that time. And so listen to this. This is so cool. You may already know this, but I'm going to tell y'all anyways. So according to this wild animal protection group called Four Paws, the mating season for bears is typically in May and June. And during this period, animals typically abandon their solitary way of life. And once a male has found a suitable female partner, he must proceed with caution. First, he has to win her confidence because if she doesn't accept, he might get a paw to the face. But if she does, then they'll usually like roam around together until they mate, and then they both part ways and they still look out for new partners. That way, they're maximizing chances of fertilization.
Bears don't mate for life. Didn't know.
Yeah, but then get this. They're fertilized eggs, which could be from multiple daddy bears.
Mm-hmm.
Sounded so gross, sorry. They don't drop until later in autumn. They won't drop until the bear has at least 20% body fat.
Oh, so it's still stored, but it's pre-fertilized.
Yeah.
Because I wondered how they were working that out. I was like, what is this gestation period? Are you having cubs directly before hibernation?
No. So it's wild because the gestation period, like the full thing from like insemination to birth, that can be up to 8.5 months.
Okay.
But the actual period of time when the egg drops and then they start like developing is like more like 3-ish months. I don't remember exactly how many weeks.
That's a while,
Isn't that
though.
so cool?
Wow.
Yeah, so that's why most bear cubs are born around February.
Okay.
Isn't that so cool? Like
Oh,
nature just does its thing.
And
we wouldn't know this.
Knows what it's doing.
Without science. I love science. So have you ever seen like a picture of like how tiny a panda cub is when it's born?
Yeah.
Like they're so tiny.
Shocking. Weird.
And baby brown bears are also very tiny compared to their mom. When they're born, they tend to weigh about 300 to 400 grams, and they're about 30 centimeters long. And they
For 8 months of gestation, that's all you're getting?
Well, technically, they only grew for like less than 3 months.
Okay.
They were just a little fertilized egg that wasn't doing anything.
So that's part of, I see.
Yeah, it's confusing.
That.
No, I did too the first time I read it. So yeah, it like fertilization to birth can be 8.5 months, but fertilized egg dropping because mama got enough fat on her to birth tends to be like the less than 3 months.
I was like, wow, that's meticulous growth.
I know, isn't it wild? So when they're born, they just live off the mom's extremely fatty milk.
Mm-hmm.
And then by the time they usually leave hibernation, the babies will weigh about 10 pounds-ish.
That's a really nifty secondary effect of hibernation, is having that. It's like basically bear maternity leave built in.
Yeah, for the next 3-ish years, the cubs will live with their mom and explore everything. And their mom actually nurses them during the whole time.
Wow.
Until they leave. And because of that, the mom won't be fertile, which can then result in that sad thing where a dad bear kills off the young bears. Circle of life, like I said, it totally sucks.
Yeah, no, they're invested in their own bloodline.
Absolutely. Only half of
nature.
Baby bears survive the first 3 years. And then when the rearing phase is over, though, the mother, listen to this quote, the mother firmly drives her offspring away, especially the males. Female young can stay in the territory longer, but that's like a built-in instinct to protect against incest and potentially messed up bloodlines. Isn't that crazy? So let me tell you some things about the difference between a grizzly bear, which is what most people think of, I think, when you think of a brown bear.
That's what I thought of.
Right, and a coastal bear. Because you know the saying, and if you don't, I'm going to tell you. If it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lay down. If it's white, say goodnight.
Because nothing's going up against a polar bear.
Okay, have you seen those pictures that guy took on his drone of the polar bears that have moved into the abandoned, like, Arctic station?
No.
They're living together.
What?
Socially. It's never been documented to happen before. This is what's happening. We run out of ice, and they're moving into our empty buildings. So if you don't care that the ice caps are melting, I guess you don't have to. And if you do care, we might already be past the point of doing anything about it. But here's a result.
There's always secondary effects that you couldn't have anticipated.
Right. But let me tell you really crazy interesting stuff. Like, I would have thought all of these things would be reversed, like if I hadn't have thought about it. But then thinking about the diets they eat, I'm like, oh, okay. So grizzly bears are a subspecies of brown bears. And I'm gonna let Rose say the Latin name. It's in blue.
Oh, Ursus arctos horribilis.
I love that brown bears are horribilis.
I love that.
They are. I agree. Okay, so for an inland bear, which would be a grizzly bear, they're known for like long curved claws for foraging and that big humped back. The average adult grizzly bear standing on all fours is about 3 foot 3 inches at the shoulder and can weigh anywhere from 300 to 800 pounds.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that so huge?
That is just
A coastal brown bear on all fours can be up to 5 feet tall and can weigh up to 1,400 pounds.
Whoa. It's like when you see a life-size moose
Oh,
for the first time, like when you really kind of understand. Like that's
I still haven't seen a moose in real
insane.
life. I'm still part of the Moose Aren't Real Club, unwillingly.
Moose swim, moose dive, and can eat fish.
I know. I get security cam videos from my dad all the time of moose like galloping around in their yard. Ugh,
Separate mythical creature.
I
Bring
know.
back megafauna.
Okay, so now I'm going to tell you guys about how my obsession with bears really came a thing. A couple years ago, I had just started listening to this podcast called National Park After Dark, which they do some stories are true crime stories, some are like Bigfoot type stories, some are just really interesting, but they all have a national park tie-in. So I am listening to them, and they are covering a book called The Night of the Grizzlies. Here's a summary, okay? It refers to this tragic night in Glacier National Park in Montana. I don't remember who wrote the book. I'll put it on our bookshelf. I do remember being like, dang, I can totally tell this was written like in the 70s or late 60s, by the attitudes. Anyways,
Something stick.
yeah. So Glacier National Park, Montana, August 12th, 1967, 2 young women were killed in separate unrelated grizzly bear attacks, and that made them the first recorded fatal maulings by grizzlies in the park's history.
That seems wild in and of itself. Like the first fatal maulings.
Here's why. This is the context surrounding it, okay? And this timeline is not all my own original thoughts, so I will put all my sources on the website. So the fatal attacks were about 7 miles apart, unconnected. So one was near Granite Park Chalet, which is the north side of the park, and a 19-year-old woman named Michelle Coons was camping with friends, and a large grizzly that had been aggressive all summer long entered the camp after being drawn in by food odors.
Mm-hmm.
Despite attempts to scare it off, she was fatally mauled. The people she was with did survive and ran to get help. If you don't want to read the book, which is super traumatizing, I listened to it, the audiobook. I recommend their podcast because they go into it and it's not like
all the depth the book will provide.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second attack was on the west side of the park near Trout Lake. She was also 19. Her name was Julie Helgeson, camping with a friend. And this bear, maybe food, maybe just campfire smells, they don't know, dragged her out of her sleeping bag. And her companion ran for help and hiked in the dark for miles and found park rangers. And really, unfortunately and tragically, she was still alive when help arrived.
Oh.
But she did die of her injuries before morning. So you might be like, well, yeah, I mean, not to be callous, but did they leave their food out? Like, what was the deal?
Bear bags, bear bags, bear bags.
Well, let me tell you about 1967 and before. Have y'all seen those pictures of a 50s family in a station wagon feeding blasted bears out their station wagon windows?
Oh, yeah.
That
Poster
was an
child.
intentional tourist attraction. Before this event, this is like the defining event in bear human history in the US, because before this, bears were tourist attractions. The National Park Service and park rangers were not what they are today. One of the bears was an older bear, very scrawny, with abnormally long claws,
Okay.
but it was because he wasn't foraging.
Yeah, because that naturally wears it down.
Yeah, foraging keeps their claws at the proper length. But in Glacier National Park and other national parks, the hotels would have food trash pits. They constructed bleachers around them so everyone staying in the hotel could come out at night and sit on the bleachers and watch freaking wild bears, grizzly bears in this case, fight each other for leftover bacon grease and what was in the food scraps. Thus, as Rose was telling us, making them reliant on human food, and they weren't foraging. They didn't know how to go get their own food. Yeah, he smelled something, he saw someone asleep, and he was like, this is the perfect. They must have left this for me as well.
Burrito.
back in the olden days, if you were feeding a bear out your station wagon window and it like nipped you, I don't know, scratched you, and you went to tell the park rangers about it, they were like, why are you complaining? That's like the coolest souvenir ever.
You got to feed a bear. Chicks dig scars. Move on.
They would set up mobile like wagons of food along the roadsides to attract the bears, to attract the people.
See, and my 90s Girl Scout self is horrified.
Me
because
too.
we all learned better, likely because of these incidents.
That is why we learned, because of these incidents. This, like I said, it was like the defining moment that prompted the changes in all of this. Garbage dumps immediately closed properly. There were much stricter rules for your food storage and your waste.
Mm-hmm.
They were implemented very quickly. And then you got visitor education on the bears and the wild animals. It was like immediate. You have to know about it. Here's the thing. So, here's the thing about bears, guys. And this applies to all wild animals. Do you also want to be Eliza Thornberry of the Nickelodeon cartoon, The Wild Thornberries, like I do? Of course you do.
Of course. That's
She
the
can
dream.
talk to wild animals. But remember the episode where like the jaguar was not nice to her just because she could talk to him? You might think you have a special bond with animals, but they are still a wild animal. Don't do it. It's quite possible.
Observe if you're lucky enough. That's it.
That if you're Russian, you can do it and get away with it. And I don't know why I'm not advocating for anyone to have a wild animal.
It just seems to be a high
I'm
percentage.
just saying that all the weird wild animals living in my house accounts I follow on social media are in Russia. There's something different about them. Maybe they are Eliza Thornberry. All right. Before we close, I'm going to share something with you guys. It's just a little soapboxing. I might cry while I do this, but it's okay. I'm also going to give you a trigger warning because I'm going to make a mention of what the internet algorithms refer to as being unalived. So if that bothers you, like, feel free just to stop listening now. Something that I recently found out is that the number 2 cause of death for kids in the United States between ages 10 and 24 years old is suicide. And yeah, I said 10 years old. That's so young and like unimaginable. I think that if you've never experienced anything so horrible, you wouldn't even believe that could be possible, because that's how I felt until really recently. And I'm not going to get into it. It's not my tragedy. It's not my story to tell. But I just, like, if you have kids, if you know kids, if you love kids, if you have nibblings, like, just be aware that, like, it happens. And unfortunately, kids have, like, pressure now that I don't think I even had growing up. And being a kid in general is really hard. You know, like, however old you are, whenever you grow up, it's hard. But I think kids now have so much more pressure, and maybe I'm super old, but I'm like, dang that social media. But it happens, and that's a truly shocking statistic. So, and I don't have a solution. Like, I don't think because these kids are so young, when I was saying that I love science and facts because they comfort me. So kids this young, like their brains aren't developed enough to even understand that it's really truly like forever. And so just, can we be more kind to each other? And I know, like, especially as some religions, like, suicide is looked upon like as like, oh no. But there's actually nothing in the Bible that says if you commit suicide, you can't go to heaven. So I would just like to say that for everyone. So, like, be kind and think about it, and maybe educate yourself before, I don't know, you have to deal with it in a way you don't want to one day. Like I said, I don't have any solutions whatsoever.
But love your people.
Love your people, because we should just be a lot nicer to each other. And be nice to Taylor Swift. She just dropped a new album and she's in love, guys. So what if it's not actually that good? On that note, I'm sorry you had to sit with me.
There are no sorries here.
No, there's not. I'm not sorry. I hate it when I see documentaries and people start crying and they say, I'm sorry. I'm all, don't be sorry. You're talking about the worst thing that ever happened to you. Okay, well, on that lovely note, I'm off work the rest of the week.
And have a wonderful week, everyone.
I will. Bye, y'all.
Bye.